What's up, bankers?
Hello, bankers.
How's everybody doing?
How are you doing? A week off to chill, for everyone to just calm down. We all just need to calm down. We needed this week off, Matt.
Yeah, just let everything just kind of simmer down now.
Yeah, just let it simmer down. You know what? We're going to do our best in this episode to not talk about McLaren. We'll talk about them a little bit, but there's been so much focus on the McLaren boys, the papaya rules. We all know where things kind of stand. There's no new information. It's McLaren's this fucking papaya box, and all we get out of it is kind of just coded language, and we don't know what any of it really means. We're just going to have to see what happens on track. But there has been other things happening in Formula One, yes. So we're going to try to get to that today. Yes. I mean, Toto Wolff talking about Kimi Antonelli. Pierre Gasly re-signed. I mean, no one was talking about... The only person talking about Pierre Gasly re-signing was Pierre Gasly on his Instagram dump. That was the only person that even mentioned it, I think. We got, John Elkann trying to, avoid taxes on his inheritance. We've got... we haven't even really talked about the Cadillac of it all on this thing. Colton Herta going to Formula 2. So we're going to be covering all of that on this episode of This Week in F1. This, of course, is the Red Flags brought to you by BetMGM. Hey, if you haven't bought tickets to our live show in Austin, link will be in the description. Tickets are going fast, okay? So you better get them while you can. If you want them good seats, you better get them while they can. People are sleeping on the mezzanine. Matt, people are sleeping on the mezzanine. Mezzanine is like, that's where the royalty sits. So, if all that's left in the orchestra is in the back, don't sleep on the mezzanine. I'm just saying that. That's just something I'm noticing. But get those tickets right now. Don't be left out. Okay. I think I want to start with these Toto Wolff comments. Because, baby, I'm feeling vindicated. I don't know about you.
Well, we came out early on the we came out like 3 years ago on Fuck Toto Wolff.
Yes.
We came out 3 years ago on, wait a minute, is this guy like a fraud? Maybe he doesn't. He looks like, God, has there ever been a guy there has never been a guy who looks more like he knows what he's doing?
Yes.
So we were tricked to, like, this guy really looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
Like, when I watched Drive to Survive, I was thinking, I trust this guy with my life. Like, please, take my entire life savings, put it in a portfolio, invest it.
Well, hey, I would still trust him to do that. I would still definitely trust him to do that.
That is true.
The guy knows his way around a portfolio.
Run a race team? I actually don't know. Because we started seeing this. Okay, let's go through the Toto Wolff track record, okay?
Yes.
So that team was actually started by Braun, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He's running. He has Braun.
Braun
GP.
bought it from Honda for a pound. For £1.
Yes.
Turned it into a WDC winning operation.
Yes.
Then yes. Yeah.
Then Mercedes comes in.
Right.
They struggle for a couple of years. They have Nico and Michael Schumacher. They build it up. There's the new regulation set that comes in. Braun, who is a genius, is working on that regulation set. Like how 2026 is coming up. It's 2025. Right. He's working on that regulation set. He gets fired at the end of 2025. Toto takes over basically as that new regulation set kicks in, and they win everything. Right?
Yes.
Toto has not won a single fucking thing since that regulation set has changed, A.
Right.
And he has not won a single thing since the cost cap has been eliminated.
Right.
So his entire success run, and by the way, 2026 might come around and prove us all wrong.
Right.
But in the current, as it stands today, he hasn't won shit outside
of the car that Braun outside of the design philosophy that Braun came up with.
Yes, and look, he kept it up he blew it in the last year, big time. Blew
right.
it.
Sure.
2021 was the last year, blew it that year. But he did a good job maintaining that era and maximizing it. But now this gets to then there's the driver decisions, right? Because Lewis Hamilton's been there, right? Right. But the point was, we were like, wait a minute, is this guy the genius everyone makes him out to be? That was how we were out. So then Kimi comes along, and everyone was like, whoa, and I was like, wait a minute, are we sure that every decision this guy makes is amazing? Right. So his karting career looks incredible, right?
Yes.
They have him skip F3. He just goes straight into F2, and we're like, why? Just because?
Right.
Just because. He doesn't even do well in F2. Now, people will argue, well, because the regulation changes, but he doesn't even do well in F2.
Right.
And then Lewis Hamilton, I might have the timeline here wrong, but Lewis Hamilton signs with Ferrari, and they're like, well, we got to bring him up now. Right. And people say, that's the excuse, right? We had to bring him to Mercedes because we didn't have a choice.
They're like, because Lewis screwed us over. But the reality is they didn't want to give Lewis a multi-year contract, which will come into play as to what's happening right now, because both these drivers, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, don't have contracts for next year.
Yeah.
Right now, they're both free agents. So, and it seems like George Russell's holding out for a multi-year contract that they don't want to give him. There is a quote from Toto about that we will get to, but we digress. Yeah, I mean, they were kind of like insisting that, like, because Lewis made that move that they weren't expecting, even though, you're in contract negotiations with someone and they want something, you're not giving it to them. Like, at some point, maybe they're going to leave. But at the same time, they moved Kimi into F2 before Lewis made that decision.
Yeah.
That was already in the works. So they were already prepping him for this position. Now, what we said about the Kimi thing in the beginning was not that Kimi's not, extremely talented. It wasn't that Kimi doesn't have an extremely bright future in Formula One. It was that, is this too much too soon? The kid has only been in cars for 4 years. 4 years ago, he was in karts. Now, Max Verstappen had 1 year in cars before they moved him into Formula One. And Toto has been convinced that Kimi is his new Max. That Kimi's the new Max. And they brought him into F1. A ton of pressure in being at a top team, not being at a Williams, not being at one of these teams where he can maybe fly under the radar like Max did at Toro Rosso. Had an entire season and a half at the junior team. Not a season and a half, but a season and a quarter, a season plus, not in the top team. And now Kimi's had these underwhelming performances, and they've been backing him the whole time, but in Monza, something broke. And this is what was said about Kimi's performance in Monza. Toto Wolff was asked about it after the race. He said, underwhelming this weekend. Underwhelming twice. You can't put a car in the gravel bed and expect to be there. All of the race was underwhelming. 3 times he said it. It doesn't change anything on my support and confidence in his future, but I believe he's going to be very, very good. But today was underwhelming. 4 times, he said. Underwhelming 4 times when talking about this 19-year-old who they said that this year is like a no-pressure year. But now all of a sudden, the pressure's starting to be on, and now the larger news outlets are picking up on this, and now people are talking about, was this too much too soon, which we've been saying from the jump, and I'm feeling vindicated.
And I think the other thing, just to belabor that point a little bit more, is the reason they didn't give Lewis a long-term deal is because they wanted this. They wanted to rush him in.
Yes.
It was the chicken ahead of Kimi was the chicken. They have the whole thing backwards.
Right.
And I still think this, even if they got their pants, even with their pants down, even if that was true, even if Lewis caught them with their pants down, let's even say, they still could have gotten signs for 2 years.
Right.
They could have kept Kimi on ice. they could, like, there were ways around this.
Right.
There were alternatives. You can't just blame this all on Lewis leaving.
Right.
Even if Lewis got hit by a bus, there was ways to protect him.
Right.
That they did not take. And Gunther was saying that they could send him back down to Alpine, or they could send him down, but I don't know what that does to their confidence. I guess the best case scenario is maybe you do we'll get to Pierre Gasly later, but the best case scenario is you get a Pierre Gasly situation. You send them back, they get their confidence up, they repair they learn, they grow, and then they're a usable asset again.
Right.
But I think worse than the races is he bins it in like the practices. He's just binning it in practice all the time, and you can't. The making mistakes in races is almost more excusable. Binning it in practice is like, that's something you should be gradually building up to, just testing the limits slowly. Because once you've been in practice, you're on the back foot all weekend, and you can't build the confidence you need to progress throughout the weekend. It's that's aside from the fact that he can't measure up to George. I think that's besides the point. I think there's something wrong. It speaks to something wrong with his process. He can't even attempt to reach his potential. You're not even on the right foot. You're not even on like a level playing field if you're just binning it in practice. You're just 1 foot. You're just like fighting with one hand behind your back if you
mess up early. If you don't get that time to like kind of
you don't get that
prep.
time.
I mean, I think it's interesting because I think his rep was not necessarily one of like, this kid's he didn't have an Oscar Piastri rep. You know, Oscar was just like, Oscar never does that kind of stuff, right? Like, Oscar might not be the most like exciting driver in terms of like sheer, I'm just like always going for it. He picks and chooses his moments, but he's always, he plays within the lines. Kimi's rep, I think before this was kind of like, yeah, he's really fast, but he's also, like, he'll move fast and break things. And I think that's an interesting situation now because I think now his confidence has been shaken. And if you're a driver who has that mentality where, like, I just go for it, I'm 100% all the time, and then you start driving timid and driving scared and driving like you need to keep your job, or driving like, I don't want to, like, piss anyone off or disappoint anyone, then all of a sudden you've lost that special sauce. And I guess that's the worry that what this year, bringing him into this position, has done. And I think that, honestly, these comments from Toto are, like, pretty irresponsible. I think that they're like, if you're going to be, if your thesis statement going into the year was always that, we're going to support this kid, at least publicly, we're gonna back him. Remember last year, Monza, he goes into free practice, he throws it into the barriers, and they say we're still announcing because we're behind you 100%. Now here's the thing: behind closed doors, Toto might be able to say, like, maybe he needs a little bit of that pressure. Maybe this is a tactic, right? He's maybe trying to get something out of Kimi. Maybe the nice guy thing isn't working. But for him to do this in the press feels irresponsible, because now dipshits like us are going to talk about it. Every news outlet that's out there is going to talk about it. And the last thing that this kid needs is more outside pressure. I understand that we're contributing to that, but this is what the media is. But I don't think it's his fault. I don't think this is his fault. Whose fault? Kimi's. I agree. I don't think this is his fault. I think it's mismanagement. Mismanagement. I think. Yeah. And now Kimi doesn't have a deal for next year. George doesn't have a deal for next year. And I think Toto said something to the effect of, like, if a driver needs a multi-year deal to drive well, then he doesn't have the right attitude. I think talking about George, because George wants multiple years. I think George wants Lando Norris type money. George wants Oscar Piastri type money. I don't know if Toto wants to give it to him. And I mean, George is a free agent. Now, where could he go? Nowhere, I guess. So they're like in this like kind of stalemate. But who can Toto get right now? That's better than George. No one. Because Max Verstappen's off the table, who we actually wanted, which is also throwing this whole thing into the like what does that do to Kimi? It's like you've nurtured this kid to be in this position, and now you're just gonna like, you know, be actively courting the guy who just like ruins teammates. The whole thing is a mess. And
well, the George situation doesn't have to be a mess. He could just
but it is a mess because they're not signing him.
Right.
And he said, like, we don't ever do long-term contracts. You know, the longest we ever do is 2 years.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right
attitude. I guess the attitude is like, we're Mercedes.
Right.
We don't need to sign. You want to be here. It's kind of like, you know, when Sydney Sweeney took all these sponsorship deals after Euphoria, everyone was like, "What? She's a star of Euphoria. She's rich." It's like, no. HBO doesn't pay these people anything.
Yes.
HBO goes, we're HBO. You gonna pay? You're basically paying us.
Yes.
To be on Euphoria, because once you're on Euphoria, you're in a Mercedes, basically. You're in a Red Bull.
The salary is being a part of the of the organization.
Like there's no way Sidney
I think that is the attitude. That is
or
the
Jacob
attitude.
Elordi or any of these guys they
make way more doing whatever movie or doing some ad campaign than they did.
Or doing a sitcom on NBC or because it doesn't build their prestige as much as HBO.
Right.
Yep. So that's kind of that. Like that's Mercedes. That's Mercedes' attitude.
And we'll see, because next year it seems like they're going to have the engine, right? But guess what? McLaren's going to have that same engine. And right now, I don't know. I mean, like, I trust that McLaren technical team to figure it out, especially if it's engine dependent, like for them to figure out the aero, because the way that they've nailed it and the way they seem to understand that, like the people that they have there right now, I trust more. And maybe the first year Mercedes has that edge, but I don't know about that second year. I don't know about that third year. We saw
I just have no faith in Toto being able to run a team efficiently.
Right.
And
I think that there is now like swirling thoughts of like, will Kimi be at Mercedes next year, or will they do some type of swap? And I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I wouldn't be shocked if he has some conversation with James Vowles about next year. We'll see if James Vowles even wants to do that. He's going to have to give him like a pretty sweet deal for that to be possible. So that is that's the situation there. Vegas, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. This season's kicking on. Those papaya rules are throwing spanners into the works. You never know who's going to win, who's going to get that podium, who's going to finish in the points. You can bet on all of that with BetMGM. And as you know, we've teamed up with them with season, and we are using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks. And we'll have special offers for our listeners each week. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM, use bonus code DADDY, and you will receive up to $1,500 first bonus bet offer of your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code DADDY, deposit at least $10, and place your first wager on any game, race, whatever it is. You'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code DADDY when signing up. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Let's talk about the Cadillac. Some of the Cadillac stuff. We did a Patreon episode about the Cadillac announcement, but it's official. Checo, Bottas are going to be the drivers next year. I looked back on our clip that we did with Valtteri Bottas, where we were like asking about the Cadillac situation, and Gunter said, you know, like I would have it be you and Checo. I would have it be you two. So I think Gunter's happy with those two guys.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a test driver. Colton Herta is going to be moving over from IndyCar. He's going to be participating in Formula 2 as a seasoned professional. Seemingly hoping that in the future, if he performs well there, he will be their guy down the line, maybe? Question mark?
Which one you want to hit first? All right, do you want to hit the driver lineup of Checo and Valtteri? We want to hit.
I think
Colton
let's hit the
Herta?
driver lineup of Checo and Valtteri a little bit. I think people are relatively.
Want to hit the promo? Want to hit the promo?
Well, yeah. Maybe let's start with the Keanu Reeves promo, dude. The Keanu Reeves promo spot coming in hot.
Okay.
They did a yeah.
This was a wake-up call to me. I'm like, oh my God, people my age are now in executive positions.
Yes.
It feels like someone exactly my age,
right,
who's lived exactly my cultural life, was given their first, like, okay, this is your campaign.
Right.
Feels like my evil twin, Matt. You're running the Cadillac campaign.
Yeah.
Here's $1 million, and I go, great. I want to do the Matrix.
Yeah.
Because that was my favorite movie when I was 12. I want to get Keanu Reeves. I want to do the Matrix, and I want him to be Morpheus, and I want phone. I want to go. What does the Matrix have to do with Formula One? Nothing. It's my favorite movie, and this is what I wanted. I wanted to do something with the Matrix my whole life.
I want to meet Keanu Reeves. That's what it has to do with the Matrix. And listen, Keanu Reeves has been getting more into Formula One. He narrated and he produced the Braun documentary. He's been racing in some, like GT cars, I believe. And but the Matrix itself. I mean, there's that car chase in the second one, right? Where with the white twins with dreadlocks, and they like put the sword in the thing, and the Cadillac, I think, flips over its like end and all that crazy stuff. So there's a little bit of a Cadillac something there, right? Isn't it like, aren't they like in a Cadillac?
Brian.
Right? When he disappears and he's in the car, right? He like
Brian, I don't really like the second one that much.
I mean, sure.
But Brian, if I'm the Wachowski sisters, do I see a lawsuit here? Are you just allowed to? What's going on?
IP that shit?
No, because I remember there was a movie called The Freshman with Matthew Broderick, and Marlon Brando basically just plays the Godfather. He's like a mobster, but he's got the suit and he's got the cotton balls.
Yeah.
And Paramount were like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't just play the Godfather in another movie. Right. That's crazy. Or the T-Mobile guy. Remember when the T-Mobile guy? Was it T-Mobile where he was like, "Can you hear me now?" Good.
Yeah,
he just became the Sprint guy. It was a Verizon guy. He just did the Verizon guy, and everyone was thinking, can you even fucking do that?
I don't know. Transformative. If it's transformative enough, I guess maybe. I don't know how much this ad campaign was transformative, but hey, I'm not. I'm here for it. I'm here for Keanu in the Matrix, the phone. I mean, if they lifted actual dialogue from it, then maybe. But
they got Keanu Reeves basically being Morpheus.
Yeah. And he's asking the Checo and Valtteri if they want to take the red pill or the blue pill.
Blue pill.
And I mean, we'll see how. I mean, it's a cool ad campaign. I don't know if the ad campaign is going to translate into the epicness on track next year. I think it might be a tough road for Cadillac. But I like that they're putting money into it. I like that we got this like American. I'm into more like American celebrity culture being more of like an active part of it. I think it's good for us. It's good for like trying to continue to grow the sport. To get like real stars involved in a way that's more than just like they're at the race and being embarrassed by Martin Brundle on the grid.
No, it's true. They brought in Hollywood star power.
Yes. And they need Hollywood star power because as much as like Bottas and Checo specifically is a star in terms of like in terms of like, vibe, they're both a bit tough. I think both of those guys can sit in long silences pretty comfortably.
I think you know what I think they should do, Brian?
What?
I think they should do they should just hit every single they should use Keanu throughout the year, and they should just hit every single Keanu franchise because he's done so many. They should do speed. They should have Checo and Bottas on a bus, like trying to keep
dude, great idea, dude. Speed is an incredible movie. Speed's fucking amazing.
They should do Point Break. They should
do
that one. And
John
then my
Wick.
favorite one, they should do my favorite one. They should do John Wick.
Yes.
And they should have with Checo and Bottas just walking in suits with guns.
Right. Yes.
And they should have John Wick doing that line. People keep asking me if I'm back. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm back.
I mean,
remember that?
John Wick
remember
is
that
kind
line
of perfect.
where they,
John Wick is kind of perfect because he's like in retirement.
Yeah.
It's the movie starts.
Yes!
He's in retirement. He's just enjoying his life, and then people piss him off, and now he's ready to fucking crack fucking skulls.
People keep asking me if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. So you can either hand over your son or you could die screaming alongside him.
Yes.
So yeah. But now,
I'm
thinking I'm back. That's Checo and Bottas right now.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit on the Patreon, but I think that there is a possibility that next year they're not quite as bad as everyone thinks that they're going to be. I think that next year is going to be chaos. We don't know what's going to happen with these Red Bull engines. We don't know what's going to happen with these Honda engines. We don't know what's going to happen with these Audi engines. And Cadillac is taking Ferrari engines. And as crazy and as a crapshoot as Ferrari can be, they're at least like one of the big dogs who have been in this game for a long time. So there is a world where maybe they kind of have a little bit of an edge in that first year.
They have an engine edge over the Red Bull engines and the Audi engines, maybe. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But this Colton Herta news, Colton Herta IndyCar driver, who has been involved. He's an Andretti driver, obviously. Andretti was like, in there with the Cadillac stuff, not as much by name, but I think that they're still kind of there. There's involvement there, and I think this was always kind of the plan. Colton Herta had an opportunity to be in Formula One a couple of years ago. Helmut Marko wanted him to be at AlphaTauri at the time, now VCarb. He wanted him to be Nick de Vries, but he didn't have as many super license points because Formula One doesn't respect IndyCar, which is ridiculous.
FIA is racist against IndyCar.
Literally. The fact that, these guys at IndyCar who, are probably as good as some of these Formula One drivers are just like, well, actually, no, because you didn't do it our way. Yeah, like Alex Palou, you've won multiple championships, and Alex Palou has enough super license points, but still. So Colton Herta, he's going to be doing Formula 2 next year, seemingly to get these
points.
These points, so he can actually be considered eligible to be the test driver and to participate in an FP1 or do that as the season progresses. But I think, I'm not. I don't know how if that's ever going to manifest into anything or whether they just kind of want to have it. But I think that it'll be interesting to see how these next couple of years go for Cadillac. What they are bring to the table, what their attitude is, what their 5-year plan is. You know what I mean? What's your 5-year plan?
I want to hit the Colton Herta thing. It is. We said this on Patreon, which you should subscribe to.
Yes.
We make less money than you think on these ads, so.
And everyone's like, you guys ask for Patreon, then you have ads, and I'm like, that doesn't mean that we're rolling in it, boobies.
Yeah.
The Patreon still our bottom bitch.
Yeah. So basically, Colton Herta, it's really interesting. He's rumored to be the highest paid IndyCar driver. I think he's the highest paid IndyCar driver on the grid.
He's making almost 10 mil.
He's throwing it all away to go into F. I've heard he's tearing up that contract. He's like,
is he? I thought that this was part of the. I thought that this was kind of part of the contract.
Well,
is what I have heard. We don't know.
We don't know. But he's pulling a Billy Madison. That's what he said on Patreon. He's going back to school to prove to the FIA that I'm not a fool. He's going back. Hi, fellow kid, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
To race in like the minor leagues. It's a really ballsy move, and it's really interesting that you mentioned that he's been trying to. He literally has the highest paid job in IndyCar.
Yeah,
but it's like Francis Ford Coppola with Megalopolis. He's been trying to make that movie for so long. He's been trying to make the movie of his F1 career happen for so long. They've been trying to make this thing happened for so long.
Elon Musk has been trying to name every single one of his companies X for like ever. He wanted to name PayPal X. He wanted to name everything X. And now he finally bought Twitter and was like, all right, let's destroy all brand recognition and we'll just be X and everyone will still call it Twitter. Anyway.
Yeah. And so he's going to F2 now. It's interesting because who the fuck knows where he's going to finish in F2?
Right.
We have no idea. F2 is a bit of a crapshoot, right? You have to end up on the right team. Hopefully he doesn't have fucking the next Max Verstappen as a teammate.
Right.
Then I guess he's got to hope that Cadillac is good enough and they're not happy with. So I guess in like 2 or 3 years, maybe the Checo or Bottas will leave,
right?
And then he'll get a look. Like there's a lot of things that have to go right. Like the F2 season will have to go well. He'll have to get the super license points. Like Checo or Bottas will have to not pan out. Then he'll have to get in there, and then the car will have to be good enough. I mean, there's like lots of things will have to tick off,
right,
for him to. But it's admirable, man. Like. It's admirable. I'll say the nice part, right? It's fucking ballsy and it's admirable that he's chasing his dream. He really wants it.
It's a ballsy move. It's definitely a ballsy move.
I respect the ballsiness. I respect the ballsiness. So I really respect about him. I've met him. He's a nice guy. He seems like a cool guy. I think he'll add a lot of flair to the grid.
Yeah.
He kind of gives like a more American, a little bit more personable, bit more witty Piastri vibes, but he's got a little bit of a dry.
He does have a little bit of a Piastri.
He has a bit of a Piastri vibes, but a little bit more California, easygoing kind of way.
Yeah,
that's kind of the vibe he gives me. But he's like funny.
Yeah.
But I follow IndyCar on and off, and
he's not really a top guy. He had a lot of potential. Seems like he was like a big potential guy, and it hasn't really manifested yet. He's won some races, but he hasn't really been there. He's finished. Kyle Kirkwood is also on Andretti. Kyle Kirkwood's had better years than him, so it's a little bit of like an unproven situation. Maybe this transfer into the Formula Series is just the kick in the ass that he needed, but we'll see. We don't know.
He's kind of like, who he's kind of like? He's kind of like, who does he remind you of in the F1 grid right now? I'm trying to figure out who his F1 equivalent is. He's like a bit of like a crashier Leclerc.
Oh, in terms of like driving, like in terms of like on track vibe.
Yeah, who's his equivalent?
Yeah, I could see a crashier Leclerc.
He's a more mistake-prone Leclerc, like great speed. Everyone talks about his quick hands.
He's maybe a little rough around the edges.
A little rougher around the edges, Leclerc. I think him and Pato O'Ward were kind of seen on a similar level, but I think Pato O'Ward's team, I think McLaren has kind of taken a step up. Because I think that's the thing is Andretti's like not as good a team as McLaren is. But I think also Pato O'Ward's kind of smoothed out some of his edges. I think the other knock on Herta is, you know, I think people were saying that in practice in May, that Indy like they had that car to win the Indy 500, like that car was on fire, and he just fucking binned it, and the rebuild, or he binned it, and people were saying he was like the favorite to win that Indy 500, like he had a real chance, and he just makes a lot of mistakes. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
It sounds like a little bit of a Kimi Antonelli.
But Kimi Antonelli, that's not really fair to Kimi. It's his first year. Like this kid,
right? He's been a pro for a long time. Now, this is what I don't understand. Yeah, he was like when he was signed, he was like the youngest, hottest, sexiest prospect. He's been in the sport a few years now. Kyle Kirk, he finished second in the standings to Palou, which was, I guess, a good. I think he finished second last year in IndyCar, but now this year, I think Andretti's fallen off. I think, but Kirkwood's beating him in the standings. Like you could argue, he's not even the best guy on his team. Like Kirkwood is a younger, arguably hotter prospect. I mean, if I'm Kyle Kirkwood, I'm saying the bosses at Andretti, I go, what about me? Yeah. Why him?
Why Colton Herta? I'm younger, and I'm beating him in IndyCar. Now, people in the comments, please tell me why Colton Herta has had horrible luck this year and blah 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 blah. But I think Kirkwood's won some fucking races in IndyCar this year. So tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. But he's certainly not the best driver in IndyCar.
No, that's Alex Palou, and that's not even, and it ain't even close. But he's only going to go someplace where he has a real opportunity, and he doesn't have the connection to the team. You know, that this is some of this feels like it's like internal. He's there. He was part of the plan all along. His dad is part of the team. There's elements of that maybe that kind of influence it. It all goes in there, but that all remains to be seen. All we know is that next year is going to be exciting. It's going to be chaos. But Stefano Domenicali,
really embarrassing. It's going to be really embarrassing for IndyCar.
Yes.
If one of their if their guy that's making a rumored $7 million a year gets his shit rocked in F2,
in F2,
he better do well. If I'm IndyCar, I am panicking.
There is a kid. The kid who's leading F3 right now is named Rafael Camara.
Yeah.
He's Brazilian. It's his first year in F3, and he's leading the championship. So he will seemingly be going to F2.
He's going to Prema. So
that's
who's his teammate going to be?
Going to?
Yeah, so let's see. Do we know who his teammate's going to be at Prema? Probably somebody good.
Yeah, Prema's one of those teams. However, that's who Antonelli and Behrman were with last year, and it was not so hot. I don't know how they're doing this year in Formula 2. But I was trying to make a sweet little transition. But it's okay. Yeah. This is the fillerette, baby. Who's the Prema?
The F2 standing.
We're gonna get to Stefano Domenicali in a second, Vankas. I mean, I don't know who's gonna be on the team next year. Who's on the team this year. Prema's in 7th this year with 117 points. Looks like they're not doing so hot.
Eeky. It's not so good.
Yeah, it's not so great. Right now, it's Montoya and Mini. Sebastian Montoya and Gabriel Mini. And who knows? Maybe next year they'll still be there because they're not. I don't think either of them are. They're not winning. So maybe they'll do another year in F2. So he might have his hands full with another guy who's coming into F2 for a second year. It'll be an interesting adjustment for him. I do think that the F2 cars are a little bit more akin to an Indy car, so I think there won't be as intense a drop off, but I still think there'll be a learning curve there. But Let's move on to Stefano Domenicali. Venkers, this episode is brought to you by Shopify. Venkers, we here at the Red Flags podcast love Shopify. We use Shopify for our perfect merch. You see this Yuki Tsunoda shirt? You can get it at theredflagspod.com. And you know who makes that possible? Shopify, okay? We just did an amazing merch drop with all of our Monza merch. We have so much more amazing merchandise coming for you this year, and Shopify makes it all possible. It's an amazing platform. You can see tons of analytics. I feel like I'm a real business mogul when I look at my Shopify account and I say, look at us, we're moving merch. You can see a live, on the website, you can see who's looking at your site, who's on it right now. We can see all of our Vanka Nation buying our merchandise in real time with Shopify. It's an incredible platform. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started to brands who are about to be on the same level as Mattel and Gymshark, like the Red Flags podcast. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. Shopify helps us do all of that because we ship internationally. We do it all. We're global, baby. If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. So turn your business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/redflags. Go to shopify.com/redflags, shopify.com/redflags. Quick question, Vankas. When was the last time you had a root beer? Like a real root beer? Because this episode is brought to you by Mug Root Beer. You got to get that dog in you. And, this season is going on. These papaya rules are getting crazy. And one of these McLaren boys better start drinking Mug Root Beer because they got to get that dog in them to disobey those papaya rules. So let me hear that crack. Oh, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like your radio didn't come through, and I'm actually not going to give the position back. That's what Mug Root Beer is all about, getting that inner dog in you, out of you. My go-to is, just the classic caffeine-free. It's got that creamy bite. It tastes like nostalgia and the future all at once. It's delicious. Think about it. When was the last time you had that dog moment? Maybe you nailed a work presentation or scored in a beer league soccer, or maybe just made it through Monday traffic without losing your cool. Whatever it was, celebrate with a frosty mug because that's what having that dog in you tastes like. And when you're craving something cold, frothy, and unapologetically flavorful, crack open a Mug Root Beer, find it at your local store. Head to mugrootbeer.com/find-mug to get your paws on some. And toss them a follow on socials at Mug Root Beer. Arr, arr. He's been in the press, and I think he was trying to create a little bit of a stir, because he came out hot. Like, if it was up to me, this is what I would be doing. And he had a bunch of suggestions.
Kind of up to him?
It is, well, I think it is and it isn't. I think he probably has to, have some type of discussion with the FIA. I think the FIA is, has to, at least sign off on some of this. But Stefano Domenicali, in his attempts to continue to try to attract younger audiences, he had a few suggestions. Let's go through them. He thinks that the races are too long, that the races should be shortened. He thinks that there should be more sprint weekends. Maybe moving towards, many sprint weekends. Maybe moving towards, every weekend is a sprint weekend kind of thing. He says that F1 shouldn't rest on its laurels. They have to be thinking about its next step. He also threw out the idea of doing reverse grid races as maybe part of those sprints, that the sprint would be a reverse grid. He said he wants to do this in order to continue to attract young audiences. I think there is a fear from Formula One that like the Drive to Survive wave of fans has kind of tailed off, and they've maybe started to lose some people as the years have gone on. They say, okay, Drive to Survive isn't as much of a pull anymore. How are we going to like continue this growth, which is what CEOs are all about. Now, you know, like within like the stock market, you want the companies to keep growing. You know, there's a situation with Apple that people are like, is Apple really a growth company anymore? Have they kind of like hit their ceiling and now they're just trying to like maintain, you know, with their new iPhone drops and their new, like, are they really innovating? Is Apple the company of the future, or are they just kind of resting on the laurels of the iPhone and the iPod and Steve Jobs' legacy? That's the kind of thing, that's the kind of position that Stefano Domenicali is in, which is just kind of like, are we going to continue to achieve kind of market share? Or how are we going to be a player on the global sporting stage? So he's trying to think of this. And what are your thoughts on his suggestions, Mathieu?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's definitely interested in making some of these changes and growing and all. Obviously he's got an eye towards growth. You have to have an eye towards growth.
Yeah.
Otherwise you have to think of ways to justify. We're all thinking of ways to justify your existence. He can't look at his bosses at Liberty Media and be like, I think we're doing a pretty good job. I think we're good here. He's got to be instituting like nobody above him is like, yeah, I think we're good with the amount of money we're making.
Right.
So he has to keep working. We never sit in our merch meetings and talk to our designers and say, yeah, we're good with the amount of designs we have, the amount of money. Yeah. We're always trying to make more money, even when we have a good month. It's like, well, how do we
trying to get more views? We're trying to get our episodes to do bigger. Yeah. We're always like, you know, that's where our eyes are focused, you know.
Yeah, always trying to. Now, I think a lot of it is like he's floating things to see. They're like raptors testing the fences, right? Seeing what the reaction is. Like, if it gets too big a reaction, negative, maybe he'll be like, well, you know, it was just an idea, or he, or he pulls back. He's just kind of floating it out there, testing the waters a bit, sticking his toe and see how it feels. I think the sprint races is definitely a real one. I also think you know, the promoters must love it. Definitely, sprint races definitely maximizes a weekend.
If you go to one of these fucking things, if you go to a race, like having a sprint there, you know, we were in Miami this year. Having the sprint, having two races in the weekend was great. Yes. I mean, it really felt like you got the most out of a weekend by having those two races, especially considering that the sprint race was so exciting.
I personally think reverse grids are ridiculous for a non-junior series. I think for the junior series, it's good. It helps you learn how to overtake. So, you know, if you're in a rocket ship, if you're in a better car, you get put on pole. You never really learn how to overtake. So I think it's really important for those series.
I think it cheapens the championship. I think it kind of gets in the way. What Formula One has going for it that like a series like IndyCar doesn't, is that people really care about the winner of the championship, the WDC, who wins ultimately. IndyCar's struggle is that people care about the Indy 500 way more than they care about who won the championship. Like Alex Palou winning the Indy 500 this year, a bigger deal than him winning the championship this year in many people's eyes. You know what I mean?
No, or in the casual would cheapen the championship.
Huh? Yeah, I think the reverse grid would cheapen it. It would kind of turn it into this weird like game of, you know, I purposely qualified fifth so that I could have a chance to get points and then maybe get high. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think that I don't like that. I think the races being shorter doesn't matter. I think that there's this assumption that people like, these kids don't have attention spans. And I'm like, they have attention spans when there's something exciting happening. Yeah. And F1 is still, like, in terms of barring rain delays or red flags or anything like that, it's a very short sporting event. Basketball, football, tennis, you know, football, soccer, football, they're all longer, way longer events than Formula One. Like Formula One races, all things being normal, are like under 2 hours almost every time.
Also, more people watch highlights than the fucking game. That's always going to be the case.
Always going to be the case.
Like, that's just how it goes. First of all, you put the highlights above a paywall, and you put the thing behind a paywall. Obviously, the shorter thing on YouTube is going to get more fucking views than the thing you have to pay for. It's like more people watch our TikTok reels, our Instagram reels, than listen to our podcast. Do we sit around being like, wait a minute, should our podcast be 1 minute?
If we had as many people listening to our podcast and watching our YouTube as we have like watching our 1 minute Instagram reels where we say that Max Verstappen looks hot, then we'd be Joe Rogan. We would be fucking Joe Rogan. Yeah.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb to be like, well, more people are watching the 30-second clip than it's fucking stupid. So obviously there's kind of like a funnel and like, Anyway, that's that. Now, but I think what's interesting about the reverse grid thing, I think he's a smart guy. I think Stefano Domenicali is a smart guy. And it makes me think about this thing that Martin Scorsese did in Casino.
Yeah.
So Casino had all this crazy shit in it.
Right.
And he thought he was going to get NC-17 rating. So what he did was, there's that scene where he puts the guy's head in a vice.
Uh-huh.
And he's squeezed and his eyes, it's like a fucking insane scene where like they put a guy's head in a vice. So what he did was he put the guy's head in a vice because he wanted the people that do the ratings to get all upset about that. And he'd be like, okay, fine, I'll take the head in the vice scene out, but like let me keep this scene. That's it. He used it as a bargaining chip and a distraction.
I see. Yes.
But he didn't actually think that it would float.
Right.
But actually, it ended up the people who do the ratings watching, they're like, yeah, okay.
Well, he had done that also with Taxi Driver, that final scene where everything's crazy. He turned the whole thing, he put the color to a different like hue so that it didn't look as much, it didn't look as violent because it was like in this kind of dream-like situation because they didn't want to, they were like, we're just going to get rid of, he was like, the whole movie hinges on this last scene. So like, I'm fucked if you don't do this last scene. And I think he was like, he talked to one of his, Spielberg and George Lucas, all those guys were like friends at the time. They were like, why don't you just do this? And he just put it in a different hue and got away with it. So there's ways of, okay, so but how does that relate to the reverse grid?
The point is I think he threw the reverse grid out because everyone's going to jump on that.
Ooh, smart.
And reverse grid.
Trojan.
And I'll be like, okay, no reverse grid. Jesus, crazy people, as he just piles on sprint races.
Well, Jenny made a point, as we're starting to watch MotoGP, as Gunter has a team and it just got a podium, Tech 3, shout out. But they do a sprint race every weekend. Every weekend there's 2 races. So that's it's not completely unprecedented. In his quote, he actually said that like Max Verstappen has softened to the idea of sprint races.
He's worn him down.
He must have had some conversation with Max where he's like, sprint races, not so bad. Like, I'm like, are you with me? Are you with me, Max? And I guess Max gave him the okay. So he said that because Max hasn't said, no, I didn't say, Max would be like, I didn't fucking say that. I hate sprint races, which he was very, Max never holds his tongue about stuff like that. But I think that this thing, you can put lipstick on the pig as much as you want. But I said this on Vank Hours, but it's just like, the way that you really get people involved and interested is if the seasons are exciting.
Yep.
That's the real way. 2021, thrilling. 2016, thrilling. I mean, you gotta have more closer racing. Like the product needs to be better, and there needs to be like a crescendo that makes casuals tune in, because if it's like, oh well, McLaren wins every week, and then the papaya rules are like, they don't even know, that they're just gonna like kind of manipulate it at the end anyway. Like, at what point is that kind of harming the product? People tune in to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They tune in to even the Indy 500. They tune in to the big events, And if the whole season is kind of like one guy dominates, or even if two guys are dominating, they don't even really let them fight it out, the product is not that good. So you can sprint race all you want, and you can shorten the weekend all you want. But at the end of the day, the regulations and the cost cap and whatever you can control as the governing body and as the CEO and in coordination with the FIA, you need to do whatever you can to put your thumbs on the scale to make sure that this shit is as close and as exciting as possible. That's how you get new young fans to be interested and involved.
But I also hate to say this, you got to make sure Max is in play, because we've noticed this whenever Max wins.
Oh yeah.
People
know Max, right? People know Max as being an all-time great. I mean, it's interesting. It's like even as when Michael Jordan was winning all those championships, right? He won 6. I mean, he took his time in between to play baseball for a year or whatever, but he won 6. For 6 years. He won every year. He won all those championships, and there was an excitement about I'm watching the greatest of all time play the game. And if Max Verstappen, you got to keep him in there, because right now, even casuals, even people who don't know much, they used to know Lewis Hamilton. Maybe they still do. Now they know that this guy, Max Verstappen's the fucking GOAT. And you want him to be involved. Yeah, and it's honestly, I think you're right. It's better him winning, honestly, in a runaway maybe than like this close fucking papaya bullshit. I mean, not for me. I'm enjoying this more. But for a casual fan, maybe that is the case.
No, I think you want you want Max duking it out with somebody.
Of course.
That's what you want. You want Max duking it out with somebody, Max getting into crashes with people. You want Max.
He's box office.
You want Max fucking running somebody off the road, getting upset, doing something miraculous.
What you want is Max, Leclerc, and George Russell, and you want those 4 top teams.
Yes.
You want those guys
going
to
at
be
each other,
all there, because you want, I'm as a fan dying to see Max and Leclerc and George in similar machinery.
You get it so rarely, and you want the stakes to be high. I mean, you get little glimpses of it, like Oscar Piastri pulling that move on Leclerc with I'm like, oh my god, the whole championship is hanging on this move.
No, there's still plenty of exciting stuff in there, but it's like I think that people are now also like looking at Leclerc and they're like, is he just going to be at Ferrari forever, never winning a championship? Like that's what it feels like. And when you feel like there's certain things are a foregone conclusion, why would you tune in unless you're psychos like the people that are already watching? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think this, not to hit this thing that we said we weren't going to hit, but this McLaren thing is starting to feel a little too friendly and a little kind of contrived, and it's not feeling box office. It's
definitely not box office.
What's box office is what's happening behind the scenes is probably box office.
Right. Yeah.
What's happening on track is weird and contrived and manipulated. And it's just, what am I even watching? What you want to watch is Prost Senna at McLaren. You want to
see conflict. Like this is what all great movies, all great television show, all great entertainment. Yeah. Entertainment is centered around conflict. And I feel like there's a lack. That McLaren is just like conflict averse, and I'm like, that's not what we're doing here. Sport is about conflict. That's why team sport, tennis, Sinner, Alcaraz, conflict. Yeah, football, the Patriots, the Giants, conflict. I mean, like that's why like sport like that is just it's inherent. There's inherent conflict. And they're just not giving us the conflict because they're conflict averse, and they need to recognize that they are like kind of harming the Formula One product by being avoidant.
That's why you need like a David Stern,
yes,
or a Adam Silver, or like kind of a mafia type boss who goes, cut this shit out. You're hurting the shield. You're hurting the league. This is what you have to do. Cut this the fuck out.
Jenny says get Flavio into McLaren.
Get Flavio into McLaren.
Yeah, get Flavio in there.
David Stern would be in there and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're making us poorer.
Yeah.
And including yourselves.
Yeah, I mean,
F1 is going to suffer, including you guys, if fewer people watch this thing.
Great, like when you look at like the great periods of league growth, right? League growth. You look at rivalry.
Yeah.
Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Like diametrically opposed guys in every way, also given the, like, you know, they're on the Celtics, the Lakers. Larry Bird's like stoic, doesn't want to talk to anyone. Magic Johnson, like life of the party, everyone loves him. He's on the Celtics. There's the racial element. They were the best, and they were the best of the best. They played in the finals, and they developed a beautiful friendship. It's the greatest documentary I've ever seen in my entire life. You should watch it on HBO. It makes me cry every single time. Their friendship is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen on screen, but like they lifted up the league through that. And I think there was an opportunity with that was almost there with Max and Lewis. And honestly, part of the reason why F1 catapulted into the fame that it did was because of Drive to Survive, sure, but the way that they really hooked people was because of Max and Lewis, and that rivalry was like the stuff of legends, but we only got kind of like one real year of it.
1 year.
So we need more of that. So that's where Stefano Domenicali's like focus really should be. It's on figuring out where that is and seeing what levers he can pull to try to give us that type of situation, whether it be with Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton again, Max, McLaren. Make this shit a little bit more even. Fudge the rules, do what you got to do, make it that way. Okay, Vankas, it's officially September, and you know what that means. The temperatures are coming down, which means it's the perfect season for high-quality steak, which is why this episode is brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks. They deliver the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA-certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, plus everything that you want. These races are on early in the morning. Hey, how about you have some steak and eggs? I did that for Monza, baby. I cooked me up some steak and eggs. I hadn't had steak and eggs in so long. It was so delicious, so tender, you know, and I felt like a king. I felt like a king watching the Italian Grand Prix while eating steak and egg from Omaha Steaks. It's really the best. They deliver it straight to your door. Super easy, super convenient. And Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years and expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, delectable desserts. I can't wait to dig into what's left in my freezer. It's going to be gone very soon, and I'm going to be ordering more for Omaha Steaks. And if you want to get yourself some Omaha Steaks, get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks, visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during the Red Hot Sales event. And add an extra $35 off with the promo code FLAGS at checkout. This is an amazing deal. 50% off plus $35 extra off at omahasteaks.com with the promo code FLAGS at checkout. See site for details. Happy grilling, Vankas. Let's keep on rolling. Pierre Gasly has signed an extension with Alpine through the end of 2028. No one seemed to care about it. Any thoughts on this? I don't really have many. I mean, good for him. Nice. I'm glad he's going to be in the sport.
Good for him. Yeah, it's nice to see he's in the sport. When he left Tauri, it was unclear where he'd end up. I'm glad he's. It's weird because you think he's a midfield driver, but Alpine's been fucking shit.
They're the worst. They're going to be last this year. They're literally going to be last.
It feels like he's in a better place in his career than Esteban Ocon.
But he's not.
It feels like he's doing better in his career than Esteban Ocon.
Well, he has dominance over a teammate, which Esteban Ocon currently doesn't necessarily have. Like, Ollie Behrman is more of a threat to Esteban Ocon's career than Colapinto is to Pierre Gasly's.
No, but in terms of, like, who has the better, quote-unquote, career trajectory, you would think it's Pierre Gasly. But technically, Esteban Ocon right now is on the better team.
100%.
And
remember, Alpine at the beginning of the year, people were like, it's going to be Alpine and Williams. Like, they're going to be fighting for that to break into the top 4. They're gonna be up there. And then it's like Alpine is just, who thought that they were gonna be last? I mean, last.
Alpine is seen as like underperforming. Haas is seen as oh wow, they're doing pretty well for them, you know. I think I'm happy that he's found a spot.
Yeah.
Part of me was thinking it's also kind of depressing to think, okay, this guy, he got demoted from Red Bull. He did great at AlphaTauri. He's now done very well at Alpine, as well as he could do.
Right.
What does a guy like that have to do to get back at a team that's good? And after signing this contract, the answer seems like it's nothing. Like there's nothing he can do. Like once you show the plumber's crack one time,
yeah,
and it kind of shows. Oh, there's probably no way back for Albon, except now that he's beating signs, there might be a way back.
I think there might be more. It feels like there's more of a way back for Albon than there is for Gasly.
But there's going to be, even if Yuki Tsunoda lands somewhere, even like it kind of shows you there's kind of no way back once you lose to somebody. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Once you lose to another guy, any guy that's good, let's say Oscar Piastri just rounds out this championship, right?
Yeah.
What happens to Lando Norris? That's kind of my question.
I mean,
right?
It's a question.
Once you finish second, do you either just settle in as a number 2 at a top team, or are you just off to a midfield team and there's never a way back?
I certainly think that if Oscar Piastri wins this year and then beats him handily the next 2 years, because they're both there for the next 2 years, seemingly. If Oscar Piastri just like takes the ball and then doesn't give it back, I certainly think that Lando's, time on a top team fighting for any type of a championship is over, and he'll be on kind of the Carlos Sainz thing where like he'll be in the midfield and people will be like, he's too good for that and blah, blah, blah. But, he'll be kind of stationed there at a certain point. I think if he loses to Oscar this year and he keeps it close and next year he's close again and there real is like a sense of like he's up there fighting close. And maybe he beats him once, then I think that maybe is different. But I think that if Oscar like definitively beats him over the course of their time at McLaren together, then Lando Norris's time as a top guy is done. I think
it needs to be close. As long as it's close, I don't think it really matters.
Yes.
But it's definitely not. But even then, if Ferrari's seat opens up, Ferrari's not going to be like, yes, absolutely, Lando Norris, number 1 driver anymore.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? This is a different thing, but there was kind of like talk about Max and Ferrari after the Monza win because of like the Tifosi and the Tifosi's kind of love of him and kind of that relationship was kind of, people were discussing after Max's win in Monza and the response from the Tifosi. They were like, maybe Ferrari down the line is a place that he would go to because of that. It's so funny that like Ferrari has that like if the family likes you, then like fine, you're welcome. You know what I mean? People are like legitimately talking about him going there because like the fans were like enjoying him.
Well, there's a talk about him going there because they're like, he's a Ferrari driver.
Yeah.
Because Max is great and hey, we're great.
Right. And
I'm like, not for 20 years, babe. Not for 20 years.
Yeah.
There's a sort of, I think, game recognized game.
Right.
Like, we recognize like that. Like we at Ferrari, we recognize your greatness.
Yeah, as if they wouldn't be. And like
Max is like
hands and knees begging for him to fucking be.
I was 7 years old when you guys were good. I was 7.
Literally.
I was literally. I barely knew how to read when you guys were good.
I was having play dates with Mick Schumacher when you guys were like doing your thing.
So yeah, when his formative years, Mercedes were good, Red Bull was good. Right. That's when he was a kid. Like that's when he had really cogent memories. It's kind of like Yankees fans, right? They haven't won shit in a long. When was the last time? Brian Breaker in the chat. When was the last time the Yankees were good?
Well, he would say that they're good now. When was the last time they won a championship? They were in the World Series last year, weren't they? They lost in the World Series.
But there's this vibe, right, where you see a great player, the Yankees fans will be like, damn, wouldn't he look good in pinstripes? There's an entitlement to these great players because you view yourself as a great franchise. Right. No matter because you once were a great franchise, even if you aren't anymore.
What's that? Grey Gardens.
Yes,
dude. Yeah, Ferrari is Grey Gardens.
It's Grey Gardens.
I mean, if they
they're sitting in their once great mansion.
Yes,
surrounded in filth, being like, I remember when Jackie Kennedy was here. Wearing fur coats covered in moth-bitten fur coats in their own filth, being like, yes, I remember I once made out with Carnegie with Dale Carnegie or whoever.
Yeah. I mean that's the bit of the vibe. It's like just clinging on to former greatness. And they can even get they can get a Lewis Hamilton, and they still have enough of the front of the building still looks good enough. You know what I mean? Once you get in there, you're like the plumbing doesn't work, and there's mold on the
cats everywhere with little tins of tuna everywhere, and it smells like shit.
Yeah,
dude, the Wi-Fi, it was so sad. The Wi-Fi of this apartment.
Yeah.
This is way too much lore that I'm in currently, but I used to live in this apartment with another girlfriend, and then we broke up. I left, but then I was on a lease. I'm back in it, but it used to be Grey Gardens because we just never cleaned it.
Yeah.
So it was called Grey Gardens. I was under the Wi-Fi. I was the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, Ferrari's Grey Gardens, dude. They are Grey Gardens. They're like maybe Max Verstappen might, I've always
a gentleman caller.
Maybe Max Verstappen might want to come
visit.
Say hello. And
it's very Glass Menagerie, desperate Glass Menagerie.
Yes.
A gentleman caller by the name of Max Verstappen.
Maybe Max Verstappen. Maybe do you want some water? Maybe an ice cold beer, Mr. Max Verstappen. Maybe some red wine.
You've always had the proper. You've always
maybe
had
a spaghetti bolognese for Mr. Verstappen. Maybe I can whip something up for you really quickly. He's like, I'm actually really not interested in you. I'm really not. I'm really not interested. I will be polite.
They are a sad little Tennessee Williams play. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Oh, that's good.
God, who talks about the Matrix and the Glass Menagerie?
Yeah, where else do you get this shit? Okay, Venka Nation. John Elkann, the chairman of Ferrari, is sentenced to a year of community service after failing to declare €800 in inheritance in 2019.
€800? That's it?
€800 million. €800 million.
Okay, this is so dumb. A. B. First, I'll start with A. It's such a bad look for the Jews. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm like, just pay your taxes, babe. Pay your goddamn taxes.
A, it's a bad look for the Jews. B, he's one of the most famously wealthy people ever. It's not like he's one of these he's from one of these quietly wealthy families. Like,
he wears those glasses, the scarves. He's the head of the fucking Ferrari, dude. Come on.
He's the head of the Ferrari. His great grandfather is Agnelli. He's the Fiat. He's one of the scions of the richest Italian industrialists ever. It's not like when somebody dies, like everyone knows that he's getting the bag.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like it's
you're
not
not quietly rich, babe.
You're
it's
not
quiet
it's
luxury.
It's not like those people
it's
we
loud.
know. It's not like those people we know whose parents were in some fucking they were in some kind of owned a chain of fucking laundromats and are like, they were worth how much?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they die and you're like, they got how much? No.
Yeah.
Everyone knew that this guy was wealthy. So the fact that he was going to inherit and no one was going to look into it is just the height of stupidity. But
yeah.
anyway.
More F1 news. F1 is going to seemingly race in Thailand. The cabinet approved a bid of $1.23 billion to host a street F1 race in Bangkok starting hopefully in the 2028 season. Proposals for a 5-year contract hosting the Thai GP annually from 2028 through 2032. It is supposed to be a street track, likely between Krum Thep. I'm not even going to attempt to say this. In Bangkok. Street track in Bangkok.
That'll be sick. Now, I have two things I want to discuss about this.
Yes.
Number one, I have somebody I want to wave the flag there. My number one pick.
Okay.
So I have my pick. You should think of somebody. My number one pick would be Sam Rockwell in character from White Lotus. him and Walton Goggins. I want them in character from White Lotus. From the best parts of that season to wave the flag.
Right.
The other thing I want to discuss is, who do you think is going to get lost in that city? Who do you think is going to who do you think is going to have a hard time in that city?
Like because they're going to be partying too much?
Yes.
Yuki, Lando. Honestly, fucking Albon, dude.
Albon.
I mean, that's going to be a crazy race for Albon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be wild for him there. And I think that Albon's I feel like he doesn't get to let loose. So I'd love to see Albon with a couple G&Ts in the system.
Yeah,
I'd love to see Albon a little bit loose.
Yeah. I think Albon kind of adopts the Singapore GP, but to actually be in Thailand is going to be nuts. And
it'd be nuts.
And he's going to be like, yeah, I know this city like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
And then he's just
they all get lost.
They all get lost. Him and I think Leclerc.
Yeah.
Leclerc.
I want him. Honestly, George.
Him and George Russell. Buddy comedy.
Yes.
That's a hangover movie. Him and George
That's
Russell.
A movie waiting to happen.
I thought you said you knew this place like the back of your hand. I know. I lied.
I grew up in the UK.
Summers here with my grandma.
Yeah.
From England.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Maybe hopefully by that time Albon is on a real team that can compete for a championship, and he's not just kind of atop the midfield.
Yeah.
I think that kind of just about does it. I mean, Max Verstappen did this 24-hour GT race. He made he's doing the Nürburgring Laxtenken series. It's an endurance race.
No, but he had to get a driving lesson.
Oh, did he?
Some guy, in order to, if you've never done it before, some guy has to go take a drive with you and teach you racing lines around the. So can you imagine having to give Max Verstappen driving advice?
Perfect.
Must be awkward.
Yeah, he did. Max, Max can't complete side quests in F1. I just saw some clip of when he was like, "What's the fastest lap?" And they're like, "It's a 16.6, but Checo just did it on fresh softs with DRS, so don't worry about it." He goes, "What's my fastest lap?" And they're like, 17.3. And then he's like, "But you have black and white flags, so you can't, no funny business." And then he just gets a 16.4, and they're like, "All right, Max, you had your fun, now fucking just take it in easy now." And he's like, "All right, yeah, I got you." He used to complete side missions in a Formula One race, and now he's like, "There's not much for me to do. I can't do that in F1 anymore, so I'll just go do a little side quest and just compete in a different series altogether. I think maybe that was a part of this like whole, I'm not going to go to Mercedes, but you're going to let me do whatever the fuck I want. Because he hasn't really done one of these like in season, I feel like I'm going to compete. Like he's done a sim thing. But I wouldn't be shocked if like in all the chaos of Max like threatening to leave and maybe him saying like, maybe I am meeting with Toto, like not denying it. I wouldn't be shocked if Max like got some stuff out of that. You know what I mean?
I wonder. It would be interesting if 1 year he did an Alonso, because I remember 1 year Alonso just
did the
when McLaren was dog shit. He just skipped Monaco and did the Indy 500.
Yeah.
And didn't even qualify. They were so bad.
Yeah.
Max was like, you know what? I want to do the Indy 500, Red Bull. Set it up.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, so you're not going to be in Monaco? He goes, nope.
I mean, he could pull a Michael Jordan. He could leave for 2 years and come back and just, go play baseball.
I could see him wanting to do the Indy 500, Le Mans, do all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah. NASCAR.
NASCAR. I'd love to see Max in NASCAR.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Max bump drafting. Do some bump drafting.
Yeah.
All right. I think that does it for us. We've got Baku coming up. Get your tickets, link in description. But obviously, before we go, we got to thank our daddies of the pod. We got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Texera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Ali Santana, Carla Quarlo, Kimberly Huelen, Alonso of My Face 69, Donya Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy in the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Signs Fan, Kat, Future Dog Door Dion, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 daddy, Branch W, keep up the signs hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts, Jay Kess, George Russell is Evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3, Matt Edwards is always right, I wish I was Max and Danny's love child, Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis, Alexander, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eva the Y, Aaron Fiver, Devin, a.k.a. the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Sonoda's other mother, Jenny is the reason I am a daddy, Megan, Aaron, Pineapple Live, Matt has a secret boner from Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary, Carolina. My name is AJ, and fuck the HOA. K-Mag can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuzh, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud. Aaron, Gene, Shahid, Gene, Rockstar, Chohun. Shake and Bake, Cata Lick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Charles Leclerc, Truth Bringer, Mama Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter, Car Lost Science, OP Goblin, Right Meow, James, DNCTT, Finney, Daddy Kev, Not Magnuson, and our newest daddies, Mike and Bavi. Hope I'm saying that right. Honorary Daddy of the Week this week, every week, Nicole Piastri. If you want to become a daddy of the pod, go to patreon.com/TRFpod and become our benefactor today. We will see you in Baku, Vegas. Get your tickets.
Goodbye, Vegas.
Goodbye, Vegas.